Okay, hi, good afternoon. So I'd like to welcome all our participants today to this webinar, which we'll be recording, and that will be accessible then on our various social media channels. So my name is Danny Diaper. I'm the head of the Science and Medicine Pathway here at the University Foundation Programme in London. So the UFP has got over 30 years of experience sending students from the University Foundation Programme to a large number of high-ranking universities, including Brunel University. And as you may know, Brunel University's got a new medical school, which is open to applications from UFP students. In fact, some of our current medical students have interviews with Brunel Medical School in the coming weeks. So before I hand over to Brunel, I'd like to show you a brief video. So this will tell you a little bit more about studying at the University Foundation Programme. Great. So I'm delighted to say that we've got Chris Holloway here with us today from Brunel Medical School. So he's going to lead this webinar. And if you have any questions at any point throughout the webinar, so type them in the chat box down the bottom. You'll see the icon for the chat box. Type in your questions there, and we'll either deal with them at the time, or we'll have a question and answer session at the end of the presentation. So Chris, over to you.
Thanks, Danny. Thanks, Anna. Right, share my screen. Can you see the first slide, Danny?
Yeah, that's great.
Brilliant. So hi and welcome to a short talk on Brunel Medical School and our brand new medicine MBBS course. So thank you for joining us. So I'm Chris. So I've worked at various medical schools in London now, or in and around London, including King's College London, Queen Mary, and now the pleasure at Brunel. And I'm happy to receive any questions to my email address at any point. I'm normally quite quick to respond, so you're welcome to do that. So, and if you'd like to send in any questions during the talk, please do so. Danny can either interrupt me or we can sort of go through them at the end. So just don't be shy, just type them in the chat and I'll have a go answering them. Just a disclaimer, I'm not actually from admissions, but I will do my best to answer any admissions related questions, including entry requirements. So yeah, over the next sort of 15-20 minutes or so, you'll find out about the following, not necessarily in this order. So a little bit about Brunel University, I'm also going to be speaking more broadly about studying medicine in the UK, not just for Brunel, so that will be of interest to you. So, why students come to the UK to study medicine, the benefits, course information, fees, scholarships, some interview hints and tips, so stick around for that. Of course, how to apply and the entry requirements from UFP. But also, I want to sort of make it clear, what makes us stand out from all the other medical schools that you may be considering later. So just to point out here, the course at Brunel is only for international students exclusively for now. So that's non-UK students. And EU students can apply, but they will be paying overseas fees, just so you're aware. The future plan is to bring in a UK cohort, but for now it's for overseas students only. So yeah, why come all this way to study medicine in the UK? Now, the main reason, and I hear this from academics most weeks, is for the quality, the heritage and tradition related to the field of medicine. We have a deep history of educating doctors. We have some of the oldest and best medical schools in the world, it's fair to say, Imperial College, Oxford, Cambridge, to name a few. And also we're regulated by the General Medical Council, which is the gold standard in quality assurance for medical education in the UK. Now, for those of you who are thinking, it's a long way off, but if you're wanting to stay in the UK after the course to become a doctor, the opportunities are endless. We have over 100 different specialities for you to consider, and that's more than any other sort of country in the world, now on par with America. But also, sometimes forgotten, we have a fantastic learning philosophy in the UK. So it's not just about the science you learn about, you have a focus on teamwork, empathy and professionalism, of course, and the clinical placements will be within the infamous NHS, National Health Service, which is the largest publicly health system in the world. Now, as I alluded to, some of you will want to stay in the UK, some of you will want to go straight back home to continue your studies to become a doctor after the course. So a question we receive a lot is, I'm not a UK citizen, I'm international, can I stay in the UK and enter the UK Foundation programme after graduating? The UK Foundation programme is a 2-year programme after the 5-year course where you can continue your training to become a doctor, and you can either do that here or in your home country or elsewhere perhaps. So the answer to this question is, yes, you can. You'll be able to stay in the UK for another 2 years. You just need to change to a different visa or extend the one you're on. So a little bit about Brunel now itself, because remember, when you're researching medical schools, it's not just the medical school you're coming to, 90% of it is the actual university. So don't forget that. So just a note when you're looking at other universities. So for Brunel, we're reasonably well established, going back to 1966. Fair to say we're more renowned internationally for technology and engineering, although we are very well known for our health programs. We have biomedical sciences, life sciences, physiotherapy, for example. We're medium-sized, I'd say, with over 3,000 international students on a truly international campus. On a normal day outside of the pandemic, we'd have over 150 different nationalities walking around on campus, which is pretty high for a university. And we have a great reputation for looking after our international students. For that reason, we're ranked 34th in the world for our international outlook. For those of you interested in sports, we have world-class sports facilities. So Usain Bolt here, along with the Jamaican team, chose our facilities to train in preparation for the London Olympics, which is all very exciting. But very rare for London, our campus is all on one site. So if you're familiar with any of the London university campuses, King's, Queen Mary, UCL, even Imperial, they're sort of dotted around the city, whereas we are all in one site in sort of a North American style sort of campus environment, which we know the students really like. And we have accommodation on campus, which is guaranteed for the first year for international students. But I guess what our students love the most is our fantastic location. We're very close to Heathrow Airport. You can drive taxi in there about 20 minutes. very handy for weekend visits back at home, weekend visits to Europe, parents visits, etc. And we're around sort of 30 to 40 minutes to the sites of central London, and you can pop on the tube from Uxbridge Station and get to Baker Street in less than 40 minutes. So here is our campus, looking quite green, taken last year in the summer sunshine, and the medical school is currently being refurbished, and it's in our Quad North building, it's called, and that's going to be ready later this year. So it's going to be brand new. And just around the corner, so just off this map actually, it's a 10-minute walk away, is the main partner hospital, Hillingdon Hospital. So this is where a lot of you will be doing your training over the 5 years. And that's another note to remember when you're looking at medical schools at universities. Make sure that the main teaching hospital is either near the campus or on campus. You don't want to be getting on a bus or driving to your main teaching hospital every day. Some medical schools actually do that, unfortunately. So jumping onto the course itself. So we're a brand new medical school, firstly. Application opens in September for 22-23 entry. You may have seen on the website that we had initially planned to start this year, but due to delays caused by pandemic, we've decided to start 1 year later, so now 22-23. And although the school is new, the College of Health and Medicine and Life Sciences is not. It's very well established, and as I said, we have a wealth of health courses if you're interested over medicine. So the MBBS, it's called a Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery. It's a primary medical qualification, otherwise known as a PMQ, and it's recognised around the world. 5 years duration as standard. Some are 4 years if you come in as a graduate, but most are 5 years. And we're also offering a number of scholarships, which we'll be interested to hear about, I'm sure, a bit later on in about 5 minutes. So we have a new but very strong academic faculty made up of academics from all over the world. And this is a selection here. So our new dean, Professor Lo Beer, has recently joined us on the left there. She brings a depth of experience from Singapore and also Imperial London. She's actually a gynecologist by trade, outside of education. And Professor Mike Ferenzi there on the right, he's the chap you probably have most contact with in the first instance because he's head of our admissions at the medical school. Now, how to apply. So, as I said, application opens this September. And of course, you can apply through UCAS, which you've probably heard about already. An application opens 5th of September and closes 15th of October this year. Now, slightly different to other medical schools in the UK, you can also apply directly to the university, which is great for us and for you because, yes, the application opens the same time as UCAS, but it doesn't necessarily close on the 15th of October. So if we haven't filled all our places, and we have 100 available, so it's a lot, so probably not, we will keep our application window open until we've filled all our places. So that's something to bear in mind when you're applying. You can also apply to us through one of our approved Brunel agents as well, who can help you through the application process, or even a UFP agent as well. And interviews will be confirmed, but we're planning hopefully for the end of this year. So typically medicine interviews happen in normally January, February. We'd like to do a first batch in December before Christmas, but I would imagine it will be, December, January, February, and we'll come on to interviews in a minute. So another common question we get is, as an international student, it is difficult to get a place in the UK, but we know that, it's not a secret. So how many places do we have? And I've already said we have 100 places available for 22-23 entry, which is great. That's probably more than any other medical school. Because normally, you can see the bar on the left, normally there's only about 7% of seats available reserved for overseas students at a medical school, and that's capped by the government. So for Brunel, because we don't have the UK cohort to consider at the moment, we can actually bring in a lot of overseas students, which is great news for you. Right, on to the serious stuff, tuition fees, scholarships. So yes, £40,000 a year. Seems expensive, it is, but it's quite normal for a decent medical education in the UK. And just to note, this doesn't cover student accommodation and living expenses. But the good news is that we have a number of scholarships available worth £30,000 each. And the £30,000 is that value spread over the 5 years. So what's that, at £6,000 a year discount? Quite generous. So we're not just giving them away. They'll be awarded on merit, of course. So nothing to worry about at the moment, because you don't need to think about this until you receive an offer from us to study medicine. But just for your information, you will be shortlisted to apply for a scholarship based on your interview score. So when you come for your interview to study medicine at Brunel, of course, that is your core goal, to get a place. But also off the back of that, you will be also scored for your shortlisting of the scholarship. So something to consider. Then following that, we will invite the top candidates in for a scholarship interview and also a scholarship presentation. At the moment, these are planned to be online, but they may well be on campus. Fingers crossed on campus, but for now they will be online. But as I said, nothing to worry about just yet, because you won't have to worry about scholarships until you get an interview invite for medicine. So, entry requirements. So I would imagine there might be a mix here of predominantly foundation, but if you're taking A-level, we ask for AAB minimum. IB, probably one of our more popular qualifications coming in. We ask for a total score of 33 points, high level 6, high level 5 in chemistry or biology. And in second science, which can be obviously chemistry, physics, but also we include maths as a science at Brunel. So for foundation, 75% overall, including 75% or above in chemistry or biology, and 75% above in a second science subject from chemistry, biology, physics, QM, quantitative methods, or further mathematics, and you can't fail any of those subjects. Now, probably not relevant for you, but just so you're aware, we also accept graduates in the course. So there'll be, some older people sitting in the classrooms with you, and they will have a degree related to medicine already. For example, BSc in biomedical sciences, for example. Now, something new for this year, actually, something we hadn't planned for, but we have changed now. So we don't require you to sit one of the medicine admissions aptitude tests. And if you haven't heard of UCAT or BMAT, please do your research, because I would encourage you to think about this already and start preparing, because although we don't require you to do it, most other medical schools will do. So it might be a good idea to have that under your belt, and it's good experience as well. But saying that, we don't require you to sit it, but if you do send in your UCAT score, you will have a priority in terms of securing an early interview. So just bear that one in mind. Now, we normally would ask for some sort of clinical work experience, but of course, due to the pandemic, we don't want you to be kicking around hospitals right now. So for now, this is not a requirement. And I would imagine other medical schools have followed suit. And English language requirements is IELTS 7 in all elements. Now, we do have an English language school on campus, which runs in the summer before the course starts. So if, for example, you think at point of application, you'll be applying with a lower IELTS score, that's fine. So you can still apply as long as your English skills are up to speed, up to the level of an IELTS 7 in all elements by the very first day of the course. So that's something to consider. So don't worry too much now if you're thinking that you're not at that level. It's that you need to be at 7 all elements or equivalent. So TOEFL is another one you can do at the start of the course, not at point of application. Right, interviews. So I want to spend a little bit of time on this because it's core to any admissions process in the medical school. So I want to give you a little bit of help, maybe some tips and advice. Again, it's a long way off now, but as this has been recorded, you can probably keep it and look at it again in a year's time. So our interviews, and I'd say 99% of medical schools in the UK and now America actually, take the format of a multi-mini interview, MMI. You may have heard of it, probably not if you're still considering medicine. But essentially it's an interview where you visit different stations to answer different questions under time conditions. And you have 5 minutes on each station before you move to the next station. It's certainly not easy. It's designed to put you under a bit of pressure and to challenge you, as interviews should do. So traditionally these would take place on campus and you'd move to a different room to have a different question. But again, because of the pandemic, interviews are planned to be online via Zoom. So you can imagine you'd be in a Zoom breakout room for a mini interview, then you'd move to another breakout room for another interview. Now they're called VMMIs, virtual multi-mini interviews. But if you do some research for MMI, you can expect all the sort of same familiar questions to come up, just virtually. So a couple of tips from me: just practice doing online interviews. It's just a good experience because I think you'll find a lot of interviews going forward will be online, whether it's for jobs or medical schools. And of course, wear exactly what you'd wear to a face-to-face interview. Even down to your shoes. Remember, you'll be on camera and you want to feel and look the part. Now, this slide I normally use if you have an interview coming up, so I'm not going to go into too much detail about this, but maybe take a screen grab, take a picture of your phone, because it's some of the key areas that medical schools are trying to squeeze in at the interview. For example, current affairs in the media, should be quite obvious right now. Think about COVID-19, how that may crop up in an interview. But one I want to draw out here for sure, and not just because of the interview, but you want to know exactly why you want to become a doctor. As I said, not just for the interview, just for yourself. Because the answer is not because my parents are doctors and they think it's a good idea, which I seem to hear every year, and that's definitely a red flag. So really think about that in preparation. Think about patient care, your skills, your own motivations. For becoming a doctor, that's quite important. And of course, you're going to be working in the NHS, National Health Service, for at least 5 years, maybe even 7, and so expect that to crop up somewhere. Right, so a little bit about studying medicine at Brunel and why we think that's a good idea for you. So as I said, we'll have brand new facilities in our Quad North building. We'll have simulated hospital wards, the anatomy centre, clinical skills centre, various multimedia rooms, social breakout zones, and also the dedicated medicine student support office, which we'll come on to in a minute. Now, we are one of the few medical schools in the world to use team-based learning as our main method of teaching. This is really exciting, really interesting. It's an alternative to seminars and lectures. So yeah, no more falling asleep in the back of lectures. So learning in teams, it's a very engaging way to learn. It's been proven again and again that there's a high level of information retention. It's just more fun for learning. So you'll be learning at Brunel in groups of 6 students, facilitated by our clinicians and academics. This is a very modern way of teaching, again popular in the US and now the UK and Singapore actually, where a lot of universities over there pioneered this concept of learning. So we have an outstanding student support service for international students at Brunel. We're well known for this. We'll collect you from the airport on your first day, then look after you all the way through to graduation. You'll have a dedicated personal tutor, and you'll have all the support that you need on your clinical placements, which we'll come on to, but also on campus as well. As I said, we're just well known for looking after our home and international students. So we'll prepare you for world medicine. What does that mean? Well, it means, we will prepare you to practice medicine, not just in the UK, in London, but also in your home countries, but also in countries around the world. So a popular route is to go become a doctor in the US or Canada. But to do that, you need to take some really tricky licensing exams. Again, don't need to think about it now, but you need to be aware of it. So you'll need the support and guidance for you to pass those exams, which we offer. And some medical schools do not. So if you do want to go abroad to do practice medicine, please get in contact with the medical school to find out that route and to see if we prepare you for that. That's really important. So we'll also prepare you to will prepare you for the developing world. So in some cases, you'll be practicing medicine without electricity, and you may choose to do an overseas elective placement in a developing country. And again, we'll come on to that in a couple of slides. But of course, you know, you'll be well trained to practice in the modern digital world. So as a brand new medical school, we have the luxury of having state-of-the-art digital technology to support your learning. We'll be using virtual reality, VR, augmented reality, AR, and much of your preparation and study will be done using your personal devices online. So in the event of any COVID-19 disruptions, touch wood, hope not, we'll be well prepared to continue with your teaching online, if that is the case, more so than any other medical school. Now, clinical placements are core to the MBBS program. So you'll be meeting patients right from the start of the MBBS, even in the first few weeks. So clinical placements, they're guaranteed and they're located in hospitals and centres in the surrounding area of Greater London and the southeast of England. So because of the area that we are located in, you'll have access to a very wide and diverse patient population. So it's not just hospitals, you'll be in community health centres, GP clinics, specialist areas like emergency medicine, for example. Now, this list probably won't mean anything much to you, but this is the list of our confirmed placement providers. More information is on our website. I did mention earlier Hillingdon Hospital there, about halfway down. They're our key partner hospital, and they're the hospital trust next door to our university. And finally, I think we can't forget about your electives. So this is probably the part of the course that students look forward to most, from my experience of other medical schools. So here you have the opportunity to experience medical practice within a different country and environment, chosen by you. So you can choose a country of your choice, and we can help organise the elective placement. Long way off. I mean, this will occur in the final year of the course, and it's essentially an 8-week placement. So you have 6 weeks clinical experience and then a 2-week holiday vacation at the end, which sounds all very nice. And many students will go on to another country, but you may want to build your UK home experience here in London, in all the home counties. And just to note, the university does not fund that end part of the trip, i.e. the holiday. Okay, good. Well, thank you for listening. Quite a lot in a short space of time. So in summary, it's for overseas students only, that's non-UK. You'll have to fill out a very detailed questionnaire so that we can just confirm that you are indeed an overseas paying student. And you'll do that at point of application, or just after, sorry. We are opening for 22-23 entry. We have 100 places available, if not more actually. Application opens 5th of September. You can apply directly to Brunel, as well as UCAS. Scholarships are available, and they're worth £30,000 each. As I said, the aptitude test, admissions test, is not a requirement, but if you do it, which I encourage you to do, if you send in your score, you'll have a priority in terms of you will be interviewed first over someone who hasn't done a UCAT. We have student accommodation on campus with ensuite facilities, guaranteed clinical placements. The interviews will be, for now, over Zoom. And team-based learning is our main method of teaching. And finally, I just want to add here that we're working very closely with the General Medical Council, who will quality assure our course, and this takes the form of a year-by-year review. So as I said, if you have any questions, please, well, I have questions now, but there's my email address, or if you just have a general question about the university, please use the below email address. Thanks, Danny. Oh, you're on mute, Danny.
Lovely. Thanks, Chris. Okay, lovely. Thank you. That was a lovely presentation, nice and informative. So we've had a few questions that have popped up, so feel free to type more in. So somebody asked, will we be sharing today's presentations? Yes, so it's recorded. We're going to be sharing that on our social media platforms. And also, I don't know, maybe we'll be sending a link out to that. I'll find out if that's something that we can do. So yes, it is going to be available for you to review again. So we've had two people asking about the kind of entry qualifications. So somebody's asked about level 3 extended applied sciences, so without the A-level subject. So somebody has done level 3 extended applied sciences, but not the A-level. And somebody else is asking about CBSE syllabus criteria, which seems like an Indian qualification. So is it just the A-levels, the IB, and the foundation course that you accept for access to Brunel?
Yeah, so let's take those one by one. Well, the easy one first is the India one. So yes, we actually accept that qualification, the CBSE, and the criteria is on our website. Off the top of my head, I think you'll need 80% overall, but the details are on the website. And the good news is we do accept Indian qualifications that some medical schools don't. So that is good. So this 3 extended applied science, that I don't know. I'm thinking no, because we haven't got it on entry requirements. But I will double check that and I can get back to Danny. But I'll speak to admissions, but sorry, I don't think we would accept that. It would need to be the foundation, the IB, or the A-level, or a relevant high school qualification that is on our. To save you looking, I'm going to copy and paste the link to our overseas qualifications as a PDF document. So I'll do that before I leave. So you'll have that.
Yeah, so if you've taken some qualifications that aren't accepted by Brunel, then one of the options is then to do the year foundation, like the program that we run here at the UFP. That you can, if perhaps your previous scores have been too low or they're different subjects than what is required by Brunel, then you can of course do the year's foundation course with us, because that's an accepted qualification from Brunel. Okay.
There's one about English there. I don't know, Danny, you might be able to answer that, because do you have English courses at your schools as well?
So we run the IELTS program. So our English requirement onto the medicine pathway here is 6.5 overall, with no lower than 6 in any of the different areas. So as Chris mentioned, for Brunel, they expect 7. So we run IELTS classes in the hope of getting you up to that level. So that runs in parallel with the course. So you'll be doing that for the year that you're on the foundation course. So
yeah, I would imagine if you're at 6.5, you can, it's not, you've got quite a bit of time to get up to 7, haven't you? So I think it shouldn't be a problem.
It should be a manageable jump. So kind of if you've got 6.5 when you come to us, then you'll be able to understand the lessons, understand the preparation, and really be able to kind of take on board all of the information that you'll be getting in the year's foundation. So we've also got somebody asking about, do you have a medicine foundation year or only the 5-year MBBS? So am I right in thinking that you don't run a foundation course for medicine at Brunel?
Exactly, we don't. I mean, the future plan is to do a foundation on our own foundation college on the campus, but for now we don't. And it's just a 5-year program.
Okay, lovely. So then we've got some other questions then. Somebody was asking about paying for the tuition fees. So Chris mentioned the scholarships that were available. It's not a full scholarship, as he mentioned. It works out to be about £6,000 a year, did you say?
Yeah.
Because it's spread out over the whole course. What other questions have we got? So how much are the tuition fees, and how do I apply for the foundation year? So I presume the question about tuition fees is regarding the UFP. And how do you apply for the foundation? So you can go to our website and also just paste it there in the chat box. You can go to this email address, admissions@ufp.uk.com. So if you email them, you'll get all the information about how to apply and the fees then for doing the foundation course with us. Okay, have we had any other questions come in there? That's it, that's fine. Okay.
I've just copied and pasted the PDF document for all the overseas requirements, including India.
Lovely, on there. Okay, great. So I think that's all the questions that we've had come in. So yeah, many thanks to all of you attending. Thanks to you, Chris, for that great presentation. If you want to join any of our other webinars, we're running a series of webinars with probably a good number left. If you go to the website, I think that's going to be pasted up into the chat box now, and you can have a look at our future webinar events and sign up for those as well. Or, like I said, email us at the admissions email address. Okay, so thanks very much for attending and good luck with all of your endeavours on the way to medical school. All right, thank you ever so much. Bye.